What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking our top 5 running back steals for the 2022 fantasy football season. Basically, these are all guys ranked outside of the top 25 running backs on the year that have massive upside, that can be league winners and huge contributors to your team. So definitely this is a must tune in breakdown. If you guys enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear it in the comment section. Do you agree, disagree? What other names would you put in this category, along with any other questions you guys might have? We will do our best to answer them all. And lastly, make sure to check out the 2022 ADP Fantasy Football Draft Guide. It has everything you can want at a great value. Top 150 overall player rankings in standard and PPR formats, individual player bios, tiers, projections, along with general fantasy advice. All the details in the description. But with that being said, let's get into it. And as you can see, we've got our running back consensus ADPs pulled up here via Fantasy Pros. Quick note, this is based on PPR scoring. But that's really all there is to it. So let's start off immediately. Like I said before, outside of the top 25 running backs, and we start out at the number 29 spot with one Devin Singletary of the Buffalo Bills. Now, with Singletary, it's been a situation where, the last couple of years, it's been, him, Zach Moss, what's going to happen? One game it's this, another game it's that. You can't really rely on the Bills' rushing attack as a whole. Well, last year, the whole Zach Moss experiment, I think, concluded, and the result was it's not going to be Moss, with him being deactivated for games while healthy. And then Devin Singletary, really towards the end of the season, stepped up, and he was putting RB1 numbers up in crucial points of the fantasy football season. So a lot of people definitely do remember that. Now, he is ranked here at the number 29 spot for several reasons. First and foremost, obviously, with Josh Allen. I mean, the guy's going to rush for probably over 500 yards on the ground at the quarterback position. He's a huge touchdown vulture in the red zone, so it does limit the upside rushing-wise and touchdown-wise for whoever the running back is. But also, somebody like James Cook was drafted by the Buffalo Bills this season. He is a rookie, though, so, with the propensity that the Bills have to, kind of go with what they have in place, and they've seen the success with Singletary. Now, I'm not saying that Singletary is going to be a guy years from now that's going to be, consistently on lists like these, but short term for the 2022 season, I do think in terms of like discounts that you're getting, again, we're talking outside of the top 25 running backs. So none of these guys are in situations where people are expecting them to finish top 12 or something like that, top 10. But the upside is definitely there. With Singletary, again, I think right now he does have the inside lane on being the top running back for the Bills. They're going to be a very explosive offense. And that does have me excited. He's ranked 80th overall. You're going to be able to get him in, after the 6th round, probably, depending on the size of your leagues, after the 7th round. And I think he's definitely a dart throw that's worth taking a chance on. But again, maybe towards the end of the season, James Cook kind of gets it going. So Singletary, potentially towards the midpoint of the year, you look at how he's done, whether he's somebody that you can take advantage of trade-wise if you don't believe in it, but the upside absolutely 100% there. Now let's move on. Just one spot further down the list at number 30 in Rashaad Penny. So with the Seahawks, it's a situation where obviously Russell Wilson is no longer there. So in my opinion, the upside for every single offensive weapon has decreased. But that doesn't mean you can't find a diamond in the rough here. Chris Carson has retired with his neck injury, so that pretty much just leaves Rashaad Penny and then Ken Walker, who they drafted this year. He's a rookie, but I don't think that he's going to be getting like the first team opportunities like Rashaad Penny will. And the Seahawks specifically made the choice to, again, go with Rashaad Penny to give him another chance. And he's shown glimpses. Now, obviously, he hasn't lived up to his hype when the Seahawks originally drafted him. He's been injured over and over and over. But again, similar to a Devin Singletary, last year Rashaad Penny, towards the end of the season, he was a top 5 running back in terms of fantasy football production. He was given the opportunities and he was producing as a pass catcher, as a rusher, everything. Now, maybe the pass catching upside won't be as high with Walker in that backfield, but I do think Penny gets the first look, and I think he's going to be the main guy here. Now, the biggest question mark, in my opinion, again, is what happens to the quarterback position. I'm not a believer in Drew Lock or Geno Smith. I really hope that the Seahawks maybe make a move for somebody like a Jimmy Garoppolo. It's going to really elevate their offense. But I'd be taking a chance with Rashaad Penny. Again, he's ranked 82nd overall. There has been some movement with his ADP, like in live drafts, where he's been going earlier and earlier. People, again, recognize the upside here. They know the potential. They remember what he did as recently as last season. And he's been going like sometimes in the 6th round, especially if you're a running back needy team. And if you went like a 0 running back strategy, Rashaad Penny is definitely a target that's been looked at for those type of teams. But if you're somebody, again, that is just looking for the upside, looking for something like that, Penny definitely has it. You can get him after the 6th round, after the 7th round, hopefully, unless his ADP completely balloons up. Now, let's move on to the number 3 guy on this list. That is one Kareem Hunt. Comes in at the number 31 spot for running backs. And Kareem Hunt, typically when you think of him, the Cleveland Browns, you think, okay, well, he's like the handcuff to Nick Chubb. If something happens to Chubb, then he is an absolute league winner. He's proven that before. We know the skill set. I'm on record saying that I think Kareem Hunt is a better overall running back than Nick Chubb because of what he can do as a pass catcher. But look, the reason he's on this list, obviously, everything that we said before, if something happens to Nick Chubb, it's true. But Kareem Hunt has made headlines as of late because he said, I want a trade. Can't agree to, contract negotiations with the Browns. He wants to be traded. Now, for what it's worth, the Browns have said, we're not trading him. So it's one of those things that I'm not sure how it's going to play out. But if Kareem Hunt goes, if he is traded, let's look at that scenario, and he goes to a team that's running back needy, he's going to be the RB1 there. And when Kareem Hunt is an RB1, when he's allowed to be in that position, the guy's, for fantasy purposes, is a top 10 running back. So that's, a possibility there. An outside chance. I wouldn't bank on it when you're drafting Kareem Hunt. I always, when I draft a player, I look at the situation as it stands now, as it stands right now. He is on the Cleveland Browns. He is backing up Nick Chubb. But even in that scenario, especially in PPR formats, he does have standalone weekly upside. And to me, that's the exciting situation of it all. He's going to be used. He's the number 2 running back on the team in pass catching third down scenarios. He's the guy. I think he has in PPR formats a decently high floor. And again, if he gets traded to another team that's running back needy, his value is going to absolutely go nuts. And you're going to get one of the bigger steals in your leagues. Now, continuing to move on with the number 4 name on this list, we look at Melvin Gordon of the Denver Broncos. And this one's pretty simple, honestly. Melvin Gordon brought back by the Denver Broncos. People are losing their minds about Javonte Williams. In the meanwhile, drafting him in the 2nd round of drafts, which I've said is completely ludicrous. I don't know how you can select a guy in Javonte Williams. Look, I get it. Down the line, when Melvin Gordon is gone, yes, Javonte Williams. I'm all in on that as well. But the Broncos specifically brought in Melvin Gordon. Last year, Melvin Gordon outproduced Javonte Williams for fantasy football purposes. Like, there were several weeks where Melvin Gordon had the better week, and just a lot of times where it was like a 50-50 split. So I don't understand how Melvin Gordon is just going to go away magically this season. I will say, there should be more opportunities for both the guys because Russell Wilson now inserted in this offense. The upside for everybody, scoring upside, is going to be much, much larger. But look, I think this is probably going to be like close to a 50-50 split, 60-40 worst case scenario. And if something does happen to Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon is an absolute league winner. The upside is there, but similar to Kareem Hunt, he simply put has standalone upside. And for a guy that I don't think is going to, finish that much worse off than Javonte Williams, the fact that he's going 6, 7 rounds later is absolutely ludicrous. I do not understand that at all. Simply put, I think he is one of the best values in fantasy football right now. Huge, huge upside, and definitely somebody I would be targeting in my fantasy football drafts. But let's conclude here with a name in Darrell Henderson of the LA Rams. Comes in at the number 43 spot. Somebody that I really, really like. And again, this is a situation where it's not that I don't believe in the talent of Cam Akers. I think he's very talented, but what you can't ignore is that he's coming off an Achilles injury. And sure, he had crazy, quick kind of bounce back performance rehab last season. He played for the Rams at the end of the year in the playoffs, but what you can't deny with the Achilles, it's the most brutal injury to come back from, especially at the running back position, because it kills your explosiveness. It kills your ability to accelerate, to juke, and those fast, twitchy movements that are so important for running backs. And I mean, Sean McVay himself has said, oh yeah, I basically see the situation where I have 2 starting running backs. So again, probably shaping up to be a committee approach, but in that committee, when one of the guys is, still rehabbing, I think an Achilles honestly takes at least a year and a half to 2 to come back at 100%. It's going to be a situation where I think Henderson has the inside edge, and Cam Akers, again, similar to Javonte Williams, the dude's being drafted like in the 3rd round, so many rounds before Darrell Henderson. Darrell Henderson is an afterthought, probably going in double-digit rounds. I'd much rather have Darrell Henderson than Cam Akers when you look at the draft capital, and then when you just look at what's being said, what Darrell Henderson was able to do last season when he was the guy. He was putting up low-end RB1 numbers. He can definitely do it again. This is a high-end offense with Matthew Stafford, with all those weapons. There's going to be a lot of scoring. So I really, really like Darrell Henderson. He is that last name on this list. And there's definitely other names to mention here, some rookies, things like that. Maybe even somebody like a Dameon Pierce with the Houston Texans, if you guys are looking for a little extra here. I didn't even anticipate adding him in on this list, but, can kind of be an honorable mention. He's kind of been making some waves as the potential top running back, but it is the Houston Texans. However, he is an intriguing prospect. But with that, we kind of wrap up this breakdown for our top 5 running back steals for this 2022 fantasy football season. All guys outside of the top 25 running backs that, again, can have league-winning upside. Let me hear in the comment section, do you agree, disagree? Who else would you put on this list and why, along with any other questions you guys might have? If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. And again, make sure to check out the 2022 Fantasy Football Draft Guide, now available for purchase. All the details in the description. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.